Well, hey, good afternoon, everybody. Look at everybody on the Maggie Daily ice skating ribbon. Here we got, hey, Happy New Year, January the 5th, 2026. It's about above 40 degrees Fahrenheit here. Not too bad for beginning of January. There's the Sears Tower, some of the skyline of Chicago. We're going to head that way towards the Loop. We're at noon. We got 12 o'clock on the dot here. 12 o'clock noon here, 12 p.m. here, Chicago, Illinois. Hey, we'll head down to the Maggie Daily ice skating ribbon here. This is part of Grant Park, part of Millennium Park. Thanks for tuning in here. Yeah, we're back in Chicago, so hey, I took a nice Texas trip there. Feel like we were just here, but feels nice in the sunshine. And there's a lot of people taking advantage of this sunny 40-degree day here in Chicago, so we'll head down there and we'll head around and check out these people ice skating here. Maggie Daily ice skating ribbon. Hey, Julie Reed, how you doing there? Barb, hello. Crystal Blue Funk there, how you doing? Thanks for tuning in there. Yeah, we got close to Memphis. We were in Arkansas. We stayed in Forest City there, and we just went up through Missouri and Illinois, but we didn't even cross into Tennessee. Yeah, noontime, Doreen there. How you doing? Hubert, Happy New Year. Welcome back. Yeah, Hubert, Doreen, Crystal, Grandma's Corner. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks so much, Grandma's Corner, for all your help there. Barb and Julie Reed, Happy New Year from Chicago. We're back. You guys saw what the steps here. But yeah, we're above 40 degrees. I hope it's warm where you're at. I think it's warm in Texas. I saw Houston's going to be 80 degrees this week. So hey, we'll take it. Any day above freezing is a good day in Chicago, and today's certainly a good day. We got sunny skies and 40 degrees there. Yeah, Chicago, US 66 there. I like that. Route 66 there. Yeah, you like those hotels in Hot Springs? Julie, wasn't that nice? Hot Springs, Arkansas. Most people don't realize how there's even nice architecture in Hot Springs, Arkansas. Look at everybody ice skating here. This is the Maggie Daily ice skating ribbon, Chicago, Illinois here. Yeah, look at the Sears Tower there. See, there's a slight hill here. People are sledding around here, or ice skating. Everybody's ice skating here on January the 5th. Yeah, 40 degrees. It's what, about 4 degrees, 5 degrees Celsius. Not bad at all. Hey, they're filming it there. Let's head around here. So hey, we'll reverse this. We'll follow these people. Yeah, Cat. Hey, how you doing there, Michael? Thanks for tuning in there. Happy New Year, Aisha. Let's see, AW6888. Beach please, yeah. We're back. We were at the beach this morning. It was a little icy. We went by the shores of Lake Michigan, got the sunrise this morning. It was a little icy, but hey, we'll take it. That ice is melting. We might get to 50 degrees and rain before the end of the week. So here's the Maggie Daily ice skating ribbon. Hope everybody had a good New Year's and enjoy this weather here. Michael Anderson's alter ego. Yeah. Cat. Cat Whiskus. We know who it is. That's great. Thanks for tuning in here. We're getting the whole band back together. Yeah, we'll show everybody lacing up here. So what I'm going to do is we'll head around the Maggie Daily ice skating ribbon, and then we'll go over the bridge and we'll head to Millennium Park and we'll go to the Bean. And hopefully we'll get there before they whip out the Zamboni. Hey, look at people taking pictures. Everybody lacing up their skates, taking advantage of this 40-degree balmy day in Chicago. See, some people don't even have coats on. Look at that. Ice skating in shorts. 40 degrees, not too bad Fahrenheit. Hey, you can get your little penguin guide you around there. They got a coffee shop here. So this is where you can go in and rent your skates. They got restrooms and lockers. Maggie Daily ice skating ribbon, Chicago. You can rent an igloo. You got the little domes. Here's the coffee. Get your coffee. Look at that whipped cream. How you doing? Very nice. See, look, they got the coffee shop right here, freewheeling. Get your coffee, get your skates. Yeah, Anita, how you doing there? Happy New Year, Anita. Thanks for tuning in here. See, we got Michael and Grandma's Corner and everybody else. Julie Reed's tuning in. Yeah. Very nice. Happy New Year, everybody. Yeah. Pete's tuning in from Hazlitt. See, we got the whole band back together. That's great. Well, hey, thanks for letting me take a nice Texas trip. If you missed it there, I think a lot of you saw it there. Julie was talking about it. We went to Hot Springs, Arkansas on the way down there, Dallas, Texas, Fort Worth Stockyards, Houston, Galveston, Texas. People are still correcting me. I kept calling it the Gulf of Mexico. People kept telling me to call it Gulf of America. I said, you can call it whatever you want. I still call it Sears Tower. I'm still going to call it the Gulf of Mexico. Look at that. Yeah, very nice. Nice people taking selfies here. Look at that. Or actual photos, I mean. Very nice here. So, hey, people ice skating, enjoying the nice weather there. Yeah, need a happy new year. Hope everybody had good holidays. So here we're going to head across this bridge. You know where we're at. We do this many times. We did this many times before we went to Texas. But here we're back in Chicago. Maggie Daily Ice Skate. Hey, see, those are those igloos you can rent. This looks like icebergs, the ice climbing walls, but it makes it look like a glacier. Wintertime. That's all the snow that's left. A few piles of snow. We drove, yeah, when I took a bus back from Indianapolis, my dad dropped me off there and went back to his place. He lives closer to Indianapolis. And there was some snow by Lafayette still on the ground. I don't know if that's still there. Here we're in Chicago. We'll head through towards Millennium Park. We'll head towards the Bean. We saw the Bean this morning. Here's the Rink Cafe. You can get coffee, hot chocolate, put your shoes up there. They got restrooms, get snacks, and I think they got hot dogs, hot cocoa. How you doing? So here's the skate pickup. Check in. You can reserve your skates online. Chicago Bulls. So we're more concerned about the Bears. I know the Bulls, Chicago Bulls, we got a good NBA team. Thanks for tuning in there. And we also got Chicago Blackhawks hockey team. But yeah, the Chicago Bears got the #2 seed. Even though they lost against Detroit, it's because Philadelphia lost their game. Eagles. And yeah, the Bears play the Green Bay Packers. Saturday. I think it's a 7 p.m. game. So Bears fans are very nervous about that game. But hey, we'll have home field advantage. Bears on a 2-game losing streak, so maybe it'll motivate them. They got to score more points than in the fourth quarter. We got to score some points in the first, second, and third, like we did against San Francisco. Stay in the game. Skyscraper view. That's why we go this way. So we started at Maggie Daily Ice Skating Ribbon. We're in Chicago. We're going to head across. Officially, this is called the BP Bridge, but I don't think anybody calls it that. There's the Blue Cross Blue Shield building. There's the Aon Insurance Tower, and there's some residential buildings here on Randolph Street. Yeah, the Cheeseheads. Well, they got to play the game, so we'll see. There's still a chance the Bears can win. So it's going to be a tight, close game, as all the playoffs games are. Can't take any game for granted. Even the Green Bay, you can't take the game for granted. You still have to beat the Bears. And if you lose to the Bears, we won't let you forget it. So I'm sure you're nervous as well. And for recent years, the Green Bay has had the Bears number, but hey, maybe we're entering a new era here where we can start a new streak here. So hey, thanks for tuning in. Chicago, Illinois. We got 40 degrees. We got 12:07 in the PM after the noon hour. We're going to head towards this loop skyline, and we'll see the Bean, see if anybody's ice skating on that other more traditional ice skating rink. Yeah. So, isn't it funny when people attempt to make people attempt to make light of my mother? My mother's dead. My mother has been dead for 15 years. And do you feel any remorse? No, you don't. I'm sure you'll start like making fun of my dead mother now. So we'll see if the troll has any shame. And so you must be in hell. So that makes sense. My mother must be in hell, and you're there with my mother in hell. You're at my mother's place there, so thanks a lot. You never assume that I'm old enough that I'm fortunate my father's still alive. And we took a nice trip to Texas. I appreciate my father more and more the older I get. So you'll run into a situation where someone will make fun of your mother, and I'm sure you're shameless, because anybody that's willing to make fun of somebody else's mother is a pretty crude person. So here, let's even if they're joking, they'll be like, oh, I'm just joking. Yeah, you're joking about my dead mother. Thanks a lot. Here, let's head down to the Bean here. See, they're restoring the oh yeah, so talk to my moderators. We get all kinds. I'm still amazed. So okay, we haven't addressed this. So remember when we were in Galveston, we live streamed in Galveston, and you know me, people watch my channel. I film Buddhist monks, or I build Buddhist monks and Buddhist temples here in Chicago. We always go by the Midwest Buddhist temple there in Lincoln Park. And I've been on the south side. We filmed Muslim mosques. We filmed Jewish temples. I went to Hanukkah, the Hanukkah third day celebration there at Daily Plaza. We filmed the light in the menorah. I try to cover all faiths, both Protestant and Catholic and lack of religions. We covered people protesting religion. You know, I'm not really that, I'm pretty a secular person. So I was surprised when I just went and filmed an historic church in Galveston that happened to be a Catholic church. It was a beautiful church, one of the most beautiful churches in Galveston, the Church of the Sacred Heart there. It's a Catholic church built in 1911. We talked about it. I think they were doing baptisms when I just snuck inside. I probably wasn't supposed to be inside, but I want to show the interior. I posted that video immediately, like within seconds of me posting that video. I think there's a lot of people following the Buddhist monks. There's Buddhist monks. You might have seen videos on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. There's a lot of, there's a dozen or so Buddhist monks for it's a march for peace. They're marching from Texas through the south, through, I think they're in Georgia or heading towards the Carolinas now, and they're going to head up towards Washington, D.C. Apparently, unbeknownst to me, because I wasn't following the Buddhist monks, you know, and they started in November. I think at the end of November, beginning of December, about a month before I posted that video, there was a church, a Catholic church with a similar name. It was a different Catholic church in a different county, northwest of Houston, where apparently somebody from the church called the police because they saw a bunch of monks with RVs parked on the side of the road and they were concerned. Are you surprised in the age of ICE or the age of anti-immigrant sentiment that we're going through here that somebody in Texas, no matter what their faith or religion or lack of faith, or even the church themselves or somebody else called, the police sheriff in the video, I finally found the source video that everybody was referring to. The sheriff seemed pretty nice, to my opinion, because I live in Chicago. We've seen protests against ICE, protests against police. We've seen police officers treat people of any color much worse, and certainly ICE has treated people much worse than the Texas sheriff. Was pretty respectful from what the video I saw, but the social justice warriors or wherever, they were appalled that somebody from Texas called the cops on Buddhist monks. If you're a person of color, you're probably laughing, you know, you're like, people called the cops on me if I was on the suburbs in a white suburb or something, you know, and especially in Texas in the age of Trumpism. So people were bashing me, they were bashing the Catholic Church. They were like, how dare you post a video of this church, because they assumed that the church I filmed, since it had the same name, was the same church that called it, which it wasn't. And so I spent half of the day just correcting people in the comments and trying to get to the bottom of why. And that video almost went viral. It got 200,000 people saw it, and shows you no matter what you post, you might stumble into a controversy that you didn't even realize. So now I know about the monks. I'm okay with the monks on their peace march. I generally support Buddhist monks and their dog and their nice social media campaign to gain awareness for their march for peace as they head to Washington, D.C. And this is all even, now it has nothing to do with the Venezuela thing. Isn't it amazing that I stumbled in this controversy? But that's why that video got so many views. And it only happened on TikTok. I posted the same video on YouTube. No one on YouTube once mentioned the Buddhist monks. It was only a TikTok phenomenon. It's really funny. But hey, thanks for tuning in. If you just joined, here we're at the Millennium Park. We're at the Bean of Chicago. I missed all the comments there. We got 12:13. Hey, Lambie's tuning in there. Thanks everybody there. One Golden Nubian, Dolores. Hey, they got ice skating here, so we'll show the Great Bean of Chicago. We were here this morning. We got 12:13, 40 degrees. We're about 4 degrees Celsius, 5 degrees. Beautiful day, sunshine, Chicago, Illinois, Millennium Park. Thanks for tuning in. And hey, look at that. Here, let's show the ice skating here. See, look, people ice skating without coats. Look how warm it is here in Chicago, relatively. I brought the warmth back from Texas. Look, she's got to do a spin there. Look at her shadow. Hey, she's tightening it up there. Yeah. Here's the ice skating rink, Millennium Park, Chicago, Illinois. We got January the 5th, 2026. Happy New Year. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you're having a good day. She's making me dizzy. There she goes. She's trying to get the centrifugal force there. There, this woman's going here. Look at that. Yeah, you pull your leg in, and we got the Winter Olympics coming up. So here's some perhaps future Olympians here practicing their ice skating moves. They're very nice. These people know what they're doing. So hey, let's keep going here. Here's the Great Bean. Yeah, Addis, Lambie, Julie, Aisha. Yeah, they cleaned the bean off. Ernie has some good footage when we got snow, Ernesto, and I'm glad they covered him, and Jose covered the countdown there. There I am. See, I'm overdressed. I probably don't even need this. Hello. Great being in Chicago here. Yeah, they're playing the music. So hey, let's head into the loop. We haven't been in the loop for a while. Let's see what's changed here, what's shaking. I'm pretty sure they took down the Christ Kindle markets all down. And here, there's the bean here. Keep getting people's pictures here. Hey, let's head around here. We'll show you the official Christmas tree. Yeah, it's a beautiful day, Lambie. Grandma's Corner. Population control, I like your name there. So yeah, the bean pretty much cleans itself. They do clean the bottom. I think the top, you know, it's stainless steel. They do hose it off a few times a year, the whole thing. You can look online or ask ChatGPT. It'll tell you more about it. So you don't have to ask me. They created this thing called artificial intelligence. Anything you can ask me, you can ask it. So if I miss your question, ask ChatGPT and it'll help you out, or my moderators or other people tuning in sometimes know the answer. I miss a lot of comments. So hey, there's the elevated train there, crossing behind the tree. We'll head right up to the official Christmas tree. So I'm not going to the Bears game. I might go to the tailgating depending on the weather. It's notoriously hard to get a live streaming connection around Soldier Field. Maybe some of the other Chicago live streamers might have a better luck than I do. Several times I've tried to film the tailgating at Soldier Field in past years, and I usually resort to filming it. So if I do go there, I might have to film it, not be able to live stream. I had the same problem when I went to the Oasis concert. It's very hard to get a connection there. It's just a dead zone. It just is. But you discovered this when you live stream. But here's the official Christmas tree. We got a blues guitarist there, and we'll pass as we head into the loop. But here's the ice skating rink at Millennium Park, Daily Plaza, or Millennium Park. We're gonna head to Daily Plaza, which is in the loop. This is Millennium Park. This is where the bean is, the ice skating is, by Michigan Avenue. Millennium Hall's there. And here's the official Christmas tree for Chicago. It's still there. Yeah, the bean keeps the deep cleaning there. You got a bad headache? Oh, sorry to hear that. Hopefully you get over that. Hope you feel better there. Yeah, the trip was great. We got some nice reruns there. You can check out the reruns both on YouTube and TikTok. And yeah, we went to Hot Springs, Arkansas. We went to Dallas, Texas. We went to Fort Worth Stockyards. Went to Galveston, Texas. Houston, we saw some nice Christmas decorations in the suburbs of Houston. Here's the official Christmas tree. We'll show it while it's still here. We'll head across the street here and we'll head into the loop. Yeah, there's a nice blues guitarist here. Let's check it out. Wait for the light to change. Poland, how you doing there? JSEC, how you doing there? Yeah. Armenian. Spain. Hola, thanks for tuning in. Yeah, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Thanks for tuning in here. So hey, we got the light here. We're across here. This is Michigan Avenue. See, there's the Wrigley building. It's looking north. This is looking south. Here we got some cotton candy. The Cultural Center. Yeah, listen to this. There's the CTA train there. So yeah, they shut down the State and Lake Station last night after midnight. It's officially closed, so the State and Lake Station on the loop of Chicago will be closed for the next 3 years. We documented it before I went to Texas. I made sure I got a recording of both sides of the station. To me, it's historic. I want to document the upgrades they make, and we'll keep you posted on the construction here. And if you just joined, we're in Chicago. We just crossed Michigan Avenue from Millennium Park. You can watch the rerun there. We're going by the Pittsfield building. We're on Washington Street near Wabash. Here's the Chicago alley there. We'll head under the scaffolding here. Hey, Julie's tuning in there. Christy, Grandma's. Yeah. Hermione. Yeah, thanks for tuning in here. Yeah, the architecture is why people tune in. The city's the real star. We got a lot of these old commercial buildings in the loop there. It's part of the old Marshall Fields, which is now Macy's. See the Pittsfield Cafe. You go to the Pittsfield Cafe. We got reruns in there. Look at this beautiful architecture, and we'll see if we get the train going by. We're Washington and Wabash. Washington, Wabash, loop of Chicago, 40 degrees, 1220. If you like this content, hit the thumbs up here with the Washington Wabash station. See this one was upgraded about 10-15 years ago. You see how they added an escalator, they added an elevator, which the old stations didn't have that, and they weren't ADA accessible, which is why they're upgrading the State and Lake Station. There's the top of the Jewelers building with the top of the Trump Tower behind it there. We're looking north. They generally call this Jewelers Row, Wabash, and Washington. And there's the Pittsfield building. Look at that scaffolding. Hey, we got the light. Let's go. So here, we'll go underneath. Like the Blues Brothers, we'll go underneath. Elevated tracks here. Yeah, they got some lights. They shine in the columns. You were in Chicago in 1998 there, yeah. -7 Celsius. Yeah, it can get really cold in Chicago. Fortunately today it's 40 degrees, which is above freezing Fahrenheit. Here's the School of the Arts of Chicago. They got some galleries here. We're on Washington Street here. We'll head over to State Street. Hey, we're doing good there. Jag deep. Austria. Thanks for tuning in from Austria. That is awesome. So here we're at Holden Court, Washington Street. See how they build over the alley? We always show this, how the density of the loop. At one time there was such a demand for real estate, they built over the alleys. Hey, you get your portraits here. The Primark.
When is it at?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thanks for the time and temp there. One Golden Nubian, appreciate it. Weather's very good. Yeah, this is about the best we can expect for January in Chicago. I was shocked that it got to 80 degrees in Houston around Christmas time, and they're going to have 80 degrees this week. And that's where we were just at. Hey, look, they still got they're taking down the Christmas window displays as we speak. This is Macy's Marshall Fields here in Chicago. So they're starting to take down the window displays. You can see up to the Chicago Theater. See, there's the Chicago Theater. We'll hit that on the way back. And we just crossed State Street. Here's State Street looking south. There's the old Carson Prairie Scott, which is now the Gothic Target. They call it the Sullivan Center. There's the Muddy Waters mural there. We're on State Street at Washington. There's Macy Marshall Fields. And see, look, they're taking down the Christmas stuff. They put it up even before they put it up even before Halloween. You remember that? They seemed the day after Halloween they already had the Christmas displays up. So here, let's head over to Daily Plaza here, and we'll see what's shaking. This is a historic, one of the first steel frame construction or steel frame structure skyscrapers in Chicago back to the 1890s. The Reliance building. It's the Pineapple Altwood restaurant at the bottom there. Yeah, Jefferson Park there. Hey, thanks for tuning in, fellow Chicagoan there. Thanks for tuning in from Jefferson Park. Much appreciated. Yeah, thanks for everybody tuning in from all over the world there and people from Chicago. Thanks, everybody. Yeah, we're going by the Morningstar Investments. So I'm pretty sure they're dismantling the Christ Kindle market. I don't think it's still going, but we'll see. We got January the 5th, 2026, 12:24 in the PM here, about 40 degrees. Hit that thumbs up button if you like this content. We're just tootling around on my lunch break. CBS News is here. It's about 4 degrees Celsius, above freezing, not too bad. Sometimes they have the live broadcast, but they're not doing it the way it looks today. Here we're at Washington and Dearborn Street. There's Washington, Dearborn. There's the Chase building. And here's, yeah, see, they're packing up Christ Kindle Market. Yeah, thanks for the thumbs up there. So, is there a difference between the Chicago Union train station and Ogilvy? Good question. Yes, it is. So Chicago has 4 major commuter train stations. You just named the 2 largest, and they're near each other. Before Christmas, I have a rerun of the inside of Union Station. They're across the river. Union Station is a few blocks south of Ogilvy. Ogilvy, a lot of the trains from the northwest, the north, and the west come into Ogilvy. Union Station, trains from all over the west, north, south, east side of Chicago. Well, I guess Amtrak trains mainly head into Union Station. Union Station's the largest. Ogilvy's the second largest by commuter passengers. The other 2 commuter stations, these are mainly for the Metra, not the CTA elevated system. This is for the Metra, the diesel trains. The Metra Electric, which we went by it on our trip to Texas. There we took an Amtrak out of Union Station. There was a Metra Electric. They usually go out of Millennium Station, Millennium Park Station, which is right near the Bean. There's the Millennium Station. You go underneath there. There's at Randolph in Michigan, there's a station underneath the Prudential building. Here, this is Daily Plaza, and they're packing up the Christ Kindle market. That was Christmas market that was here. The 4th is LaSalle Station. LaSalle Station, we'll go to LaSalle Street. I'll show you. If you go behind the Board of Trade, there's LaSalle Station. You get the trains to Joliet. There's trains that go south and west from LaSalle Street Station. A lot of people that go to Beverly, you go out of LaSalle Street Station, which is still in the city of Chicago. And there's City Hall. This is City Hall. There's the Thompson Center. We might see that on the way back. We'll head over to LaSalle Street here. We got 1227. We'll probably head over to the Riverwalk here. But yeah, they're cleaning up. There's the beer garden there, the Christ Kindle Market from the 2025 holiday season. It's over. Nothing lasts, but here's Clark Street looking south. Here's Clark Street looking north to the Thompson Center. We'll head over to the LaSalle here. Thanks for tuning in there. Yeah, beautiful weather. Yeah, the Picasso. So there's the Picasso right there. Oops, sorry. There's the Picasso right there. So I failed to point that out. Washington Street. Yeah, Madison and LaSalle. We're really near there. We're Washington and LaSalle. So I guess we're 1 block north. I'll point you in that direction. But I think I'm going to head over to the Riverwalk. We'll head back on the Riverwalk, and we'll just finish it that way. We'll get to the Chicago Theater, I'm sure, sometime later this week. We'll talk about the State and Lake Station at some point. Yeah, the Untouchables. Yeah, the baby carriage scene. Yeah, Julie Reed, I got that video. I think you saw it there. Yeah, I posted that to YouTube and TikTok. We were there in December. I showed that exactly those steps where the famous baby carriage scene is in the Untouchables. That was Union Station, correct? Julie Reed, thanks for the good information there. So thanks for tuning in here. Welcome to Chicago. We got 12:28 in the PM. We're just tootling through the loop of Chicago at lunchtime here. So here, let's try to get across the street here. We'll wait to this truck. So here, this is LaSalle Street. This is the Board of Trade, Chicago Board of Trade. Look at that skyscraper canyon. This was historically the financial heart district of Chicago and the Loop of Chicago. Board of Trade was the largest commodities exchange in the world. Look at some of these Art Deco buildings, some of the financial services that were concentrated here in the 1920s. And you see, you can look back to the Pittsfield building. That's Lake Michigan's that way. But these, and this is the City Hall. And we'll head over. Let's see, which way should we go? We'll go under the elevated tracks here. Yeah, the floor traders. When I moved to Chicago in 1999, I've been here for 27 years. Lived in Chicago for 27 years, in the city. Lincoln Park is where I live. Yeah, they would have the color-coded jackets. All the floor traders, the open outcry, the hand signals. If you watch the old Ferris Bueller's Day Off, when they go, before they go to the Sears Tower, they go to the stock exchange. They used to be able to look through the window and see everybody. That's all gone. It's all electronic. The old cattle pits, the corn pits and soybean pits and commodities. But here we're on Washington Street at Wells, where we'll head up. We'll stay under the elevated tracks, and we'll head up to the Chicago Riverwalk here. See how they cantilevered that building over top of this building? They got some more. They started doing that more and more. Get the air rights. But this is Wells Street. There's the Washington to Wells station on the loop. This is part of the loop of Chicago. Yeah, this is live. So this is 12:30. We got January the 5th, 2026. This is Chicago, Illinois. I was streaming in Texas. I was a trip to visit my family down there. Some of my family lives in Texas. Some of my family lives in Indiana. But it was a great trip. Now we're back in Chicago and the weather's not too bad. 40 degrees. We got, yeah, 12:31 in the PM. Hit the thumbs up if you like this. Thanks for watching it live. And yeah, used to get off there. Yeah, Ruben at that train station 2 times. Yeah, 43 degrees. Hey, it's warming up. Not too bad. Thanks for the information there. Thanks for helping out. Yeah, there goes an elevated train there. We're headed out to the big cross interchange. So we're up to Randolph in Wells Street. Yeah, look at this building here. I thought a train was coming. It snuck up on me. This must be a pink line. It's a short one. Yeah, here's the pink line. Heading northbound. Well, it's gonna turn west. It'll go west to the West Loop. There's the Palace, Cadillac Palace Theater here. This is Randolph. A lot of theaters are on Randolph Street in Chicago. Over on Wells Street, heading north here. Born and raised, Denise. That's great. Denise Clark, thanks for tuning in. Very nice. Yeah, thanks, Grandma's Corner there. One Golden Nubian, thanks for helping out. Hello. So we'll stick under the elevated train tracks here in Chicago. Look at the beautiful detailing on these buildings. These terracotta pieces. And the windows, loop of Chicago. Look at this stair. It's like an emergency stair. I don't really want people using this one. Right here, we'll head up to the Riverwalk here. Hey, there's the Chicago alley. Look at that. Yeah, Julie Reed, Aisha, Denise. Thanks for tuning in here. So here's some of the Rosati's pizzas there. There's the L station. Asada Mexican Grill. Here's the intersection of the trains here. So hey, we're at we're at Lake and Wells Street. I want to get across the street. We'll head up to the Riverwalk here. So this Lake Street goes all the way to the west side. That's the loop here. A lot of trains, very busy intersection right here. Here comes the pink line heading the other way. That's a switching station. That's an active switching station. It's a crossroad. This is one of the most active switches of any railroad system. So literally hundreds of trains go through there every day, and they're the short CTA trains, but still, you know, a lot of passengers. Yeah, 41 in Indiana. That's not bad. Yeah, we're above 40 degrees. The reason I'm not mentioning it, we mentioned that, I know you just must have tuned in. We mentioned the temperature about 50 times before you tuned in there. So thanks for tuning in. Even though you could type in Chicago temperature, I know, but you want me to say it, I understand. 40 degrees. We're 41, 42 degrees here in Chicago. Pretty nice day. We're like 4 or 5 degrees Celsius. So we're gonna head up. Here's a food hall. And it looks like they're closed today. But here, we'll head across Wacker Drive. We'll show you the merchandise mart. This is where Ernesto and Jose were at. Hopefully you were able to tune in their live streams. Alexander Chicago was here. They had this right there is where they had the stage for the New Year's Eve. If you watch Alexander Chicago, or I think Ernesto Chicago Nuggies and Jose were over on that bridge over there, and they were able to stream the countdown. And this is right where Chance the Rapper, there was a stage here. I saw it after Dick Clark's Rockin' Eve there. Ryan Seacrest did it in New York, and they would keep going back to Chicago and Las Vegas and Nashville and other places, Puerto Rico. They would go to different places, and they would go to Chicago, and Chance the Rapper was here. I saw Adam Who Day One. He was on the stage there. Remember we called him earlier? He's the guy that does the dance, the viral dances. Well, here, let's head down to Chicago Riverwalk. We got 12:36 here in the PM here, about 41 degrees Fahrenheit, Chicago, Illinois. There's the merchandise mart. And we'll head along the Riverwalk here. It's 50 degrees in Cincinnati. Wow, 50 degrees in January. It's supposed to get up to 60 later this week. My dad was telling me, because he lives near Cincinnati. That's amazing. Here, we'll get this train going by here. That's a brown line, probably heading north here. So we're up by the merchandise mart, Chicago River, Chicago, Illinois. We just crossed Wacker Drive from Wells Street. We'll head around here, and we'll go down here. How you doing? How you doing? Here, we'll head down here. Arizona. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. Hey, we got plenty of experience with live streaming. We've been doing this for 3 years. I started on TikTok, had an account, deleted it with a lot of followers, and then we built it back up. And then TikTok has done a successful job of alienating me from their platform, even though I'm very successful on their platform. So tell TikTok they lost a customer because they keep jerking around with the creators. They kicked me out of the creator fund, even though I made a lot of money for TikTok. But it's never enough, because once they started buying back their own stock, I'm like, and I know Google buys back their own stock too. I know I'm not crazy about any of these platforms. Let's pick your poison. Thanks for watching here on YouTube. But yeah, we're building our YouTube account. Thanks for watching on YouTube here. We did a lot of live streaming down in Texas. We got reruns. I do post clips to TikTok, but that might stop because TikTok's still angering me. You know, you think, I keep giving TikTok a chance, and they keep finding ways to alienate me from their platform. And you realize they don't even care. They don't even care if you use their platform or not, is what you, even as a live streamer with like 100,000 followers, you think they would care. Like if Dan All Day in New York City switches to Twitch, you think they would care, but they don't. And so what's going to happen is some really successful live streamers will stay on TikTok, and other ones will leave, and that always happens. You know, some people leave YouTube to go to TikTok. You know, it's just the way it is. But here we're at the Chicago Riverwalk here. We got 12:39 here, Chicago Riverwalk. Chris, how you doing there? Netherlands, how you doing there? Youssef. Happy Monday, yeah. Kate's tuning in there. Yeah, we'll see what the Bears do against Green Bay. They got to play the game. The way the Bears played the last 2 games makes me nervous because they keep waiting until the fourth quarter to try to come back. You can't do that in the playoffs. They got to be able to score. And so we'll see if they can get it together before Saturday. They play Green Bay Saturday. They're at 7. Yeah, thanks for tuning in there. Yeah. I know, Julie Reed. Is it? Well, Julie, we both live in the same country. We're both Americans. You realize, do you think the stock market cares about us? No, the stock market doesn't care about us. The stock market can make money without us, and they just want to make money off of us. The same with these social media platforms. You think they're your friends, but they're not. They're actually trying to control your behavior. And I guess if you're a true American, you resist that. You're like, I'm not going to conform, I'll move to a different platform. If we have to, we'll move again. But thanks for understanding and watching me on YouTube. I know I lost and alienated a bunch of my audience, but that's the risk you take. I'm willing to take it. Here's the, see if you just joined, we're on the Chicago Riverwalk here. Here's the seating wall. And 1240, beautiful day, 40 degrees, above 40 degrees. Nice day to walk along the Riverwalk here. Yeah, thanks, Wild Landscape. You know what's going on there. See, positive, negatives, everything. What do we always say? We saw some ice in Lake Michigan. There was a little donuts, but they were melting really quickly. There is some ice that formed near the shores, but it'll probably all melt this week because we might get to 50 degrees later this week. All for one, and that one is me. Yeah, it's all about me. I'm a narcissist. Why else would I do this? I should be a politician. Oh, I'm missing out. Sounds of the Riverwalk, Sundays, 1 to 2:30 p.m. here. So they got some performers there. I don't know if they're still doing. No, this is way back in the summer, so I don't know why they got that sign started. It almost got me. I'm like, they're still doing it in the winter. They're not. That's old news. Thanks, Penny. Thanks for being a loyal friend and viewer here. Appreciate it. Yeah, you got to make it for yourself. I'm not complaining. I got to make it for myself. I'm not blaming my problems on others. I'm just relaying my frustrations. Life throws you challenges. No matter where you're at, you got to accept the challenges and suck it up and stop complaining and just keep going. Hey, they're working on. That's where we watched the St. Patrick's Day Dine in the River Green last year. Hopefully they'll have that fixed before March. I'll keep an eye on that. That's the West in there. There's a nice place that's the Quaker Oats building. RPM Seafood. See, we're on Tiny Tap here at the Chicago Riverwalk. There's Portofino's and RPM Seafood. Whirlpool building, Weston. There's the Marina Towers. Hey, we're back at the Riverwalk here. Yeah, I want to blame my problems on mutant squirrels. That's a good strategy. I agree. Teenage mutant squirrels. They're ninjas. All those are turtles. Here's Dearborn Street. There's the House of Blues. There's the House of Blues in Chicago. Every once in a while we see people lined up for a big name act there. There's Marina Towers. Yeah, they're working on the Weston there. Yeah, Katie Smith. You can ask people, and I usually, I have a day job. I work for an architecture and engineering firm, so I usually stream my walks to work. I usually walk to work, walk home. It's very convenient because I walk past the touristy areas of Chicago. People follow me there. Say, why do you always film the tour? Sue me. I live in a very expensive area of Chicago near the lake. I work for an architecture and engineering firm. People bash me all the time for living in Lincoln Park. I'm not a native Chicagoan, so I'm the reason Lincoln Park was gentrified. It's all my problem. Yeah, I know. But we like this morning we filmed I usually stream from about 6:30 to 8 in the morning and about noon to 1. This is all Chicago Central Time. We got 12:44 local time, and then I usually stream from 5 p.m. to 6:30 or 7 at night on my walk home. And we just, you know, I do have videos from the south and west side, and I don't usually go there in my normal commute to work. So we just filmed the weather. We filmed the sunrise this morning. At lunchtime, I usually take a stroll through the loop, like we went through Millennium Parks, checked out the ice skating, talked through the loop walk and the river walk, things that I don't have time to do on my normal commute as much. And we pick different routes. Just get a tiny sliver of the city. It doesn't represent the whole city, just the touristy side. Like sometimes we go to Navy Pier. Sometimes we film the new casino construction on the North Branch, progress of new construction, new housing being built in Old Town, Lincoln Park, stuff like that. I do go up to Lakeview. I go to Wicker Park. I do go to Pilsen. I do go to Chinatown, Bronzeville. We go to Hyde Park sometimes. I have gone to O Block. I have gone to Grand Crossings. We've gone to Pullman. We've gone to the west side. We've gone to the Garfield Park Conservatory. We've gone to Lincoln Park Conservatory. Here's the Marina Towers. We've gone to the southeast side, 91st and Commercial. Filmed the Blues Brothers Bridge, the 95th there. I was at the 95th into the Red Line. I could have took the Red Line from 95th, but I had a bunch of luggage with me, so I took it all the way to downtown. I could have took the Red Line from 95th North, but I chickened out. Not because I'm scared to, just because it was more convenient for me to take it all the way downtown. And my ticket already paid for that. Peace, Elisa, how you doing there? Happy New Year. Yeah, there was a river swim there. Thanks for bringing that up there. Yeah, Ernesto Chicago Nuggies, back in September, they had a river swim where they had lanes, just like the Olympics. And yeah, I don't know if I would swim in the river, but other people were willing to take the risk. It's all what you're willing to risk. Here's this is under State Street. So they've been working on State Street for over a year now. They're doing welds. They're fixing the structure of, this is a bascule bridge, a drawbridge that lifts. Of course, for there's some sparks. They're welding. There's a barge there in the middle of the Chicago River. We're on the Chicago River walk here. 42 degrees. We got 12:46 in the PM here. Thanks for tuning in. Lisa, Happy New Year. Yeah, thanks. I got that video you sent in Nebraska. That was beautiful. I know there's more to the Nebraska than Omaha and Lincoln. They got all the sand hills and beautiful natural area, Chimney Rock, all these things that people don't realize are in Nebraska. The Platte River, and there's more in Nebraska than corn. Hey, look at that. There's the Marina Towers, Bertrand Goldberg's masterpiece. There's the old IBM building, Mies van der Rohe, which is now the Langham Hotels at the bottom, and then they got the American Medical Association Plaza. Here's the Vietnam War Memorial here in Chicago, so we thank all the service people that have served, people that paid the ultimate sacrifice in foreign wars. Chicago remembers, and hopefully we'll continue to stay out of stupid wars. You notice I didn't mention anything about the events over the weekend. We'll save that for tonight. Maybe I'll just do that on Substack. If people want to hear my true thoughts about the latest incursion by our U.S. military there, we'll save that for Substack. I got to start putting more content on Substack anyway. I want to have that as a way to express myself in writing. This is a good way to express myself off the cuff, stream of consciousness, but sometimes that's not the best way for me to represent myself when I'm reacting to comments, and everything I say can be used against me and people react in the comments, and I don't expect you to agree with my opinions. My opinions are my own. They're not yours. And I expect people to push back and disagree and think about things differently. Sometimes we learn stuff from bouncing stuff off each other. Who's having a birthday there? Let's see, whose birthday did I miss there? Lambie. Yeah, Pizza Lisa, the golf course with the panhandle, yeah. So whoever has a birthday there, happy belated birthday. And oh, it's Lambie T. Lambie T's belated birthday, yeah. So we wish a happy belated birthday to Lambie T there. Thanks for tuning in from New Mexico. Or the state of New Mexico. Hastings. Friendly people there, that's good. Aisha. Yeah. So hey, we're underneath the Trump Tower there, the second tallest building in Chicago. I have to point it out because we walk by it all the time. There's people on the river. O'Brien's is closed down. There's the Mather Tower. There's the water taxi. So here we'll I hope I didn't freak out those nice people. They're like, who's this guy streaming and walking past us? Brian, really Chicago. You check me out there. Here's there's the Wrigley Building, the Tribune Tower. We went by them this morning. There's the tall Trump Tower, 1,200 feet tall with the spike. Hey, people jogging in shorts, true Chicagoans there. There you go. See, 42 degrees. Summertime in January. We're going to see the hot tub boat out here. We're going to see people swimming in the river in January. Do your polar plunge. Yeah, thanks. I wish you were here too. Wish you were here, just like the Pink Floyd song. Yeah, we got, well, being here virtually is the next best thing. Thanks for spending time with me. I know everybody's busy. But appreciate Anita and Grandma's Corner and One Golden Newbie and everybody here. Shauna and Mary Therese. Hope everybody had a good holidays. Happy New Year. So what time we got? 12:50. So we'll head up the stairs here. We'll show you the nice views from the DeSable Michigan Avenue Bridge. And then we'll head back to work here. So we'll be back tonight after 5 o'clock for my walk home. It'll be dark by then. We'll check out the lights on Michigan Avenue and then we'll ease into the work week cycle. I'll get back on my normal live streaming schedule here. Yeah, we got a good group of people here. I'm glad you feel welcome here, Aisha. That's great. And thanks everybody else, part of the good group we got here for making everybody feel so welcome here. Here's underneath the, this is Lower Wacker Drive. So you see, this is the bypass. You've seen the Blues Brothers. This is Lower Wacker Drive. You see how you're really above the ground, but it feels like you're below the ground when you're in there. That's why they snaked it along the river because of the grade changes. But hey, look at the Wrigley Building, the Tribune Tower. People taking pictures here. Look at that nice, look how the sun's hitting it. Very nice. How you doing? There it is. Look at that beautiful view. The Wrigley Building, the Tribune Tower with the Intercontinental Hotel there. It used to be the Medina Athletic Association. Here's a beautiful view down the main channel, the Chicago River. That's where we just walked on the Chicago River Walk. 42 degrees Fahrenheit, 5 degrees Celsius. Not too bad. There's the 333 Michigan. There's the London House Hotel. It used to be the London Guarantee. But hey, let's go out on this bridge here. SoCal's tuning in. That's good. Lorraine, yeah, how you doing, Lorraine? Happy New Year. Yeah, Drew, how you doing? So look, there's a seagull eating something there. Seagull dived down in the water and it's getting a fish or something. What's that seagull doing? Well, here's the Chicago River. There, look at that. Beautiful sunny day. There, you can look that way and see the St. Regis. There's the Wrigley and the Tribune, North Michigan Avenue. There's the water taxi. You can take the water taxi. Wendell. They were working on that, but I guess they got it ready to go now. Yeah, Happy New Year. Z6E90. Yeah, Christy, Happy New Year. Lorraine, Happy New Year. Yeah, Lorraine. Yeah, we're back. Everybody's like, when are you getting back to Chicago? I was down in that warm weather. And I was like, now we brought it back to Chicago, more or less. Isn't global warming great? Can we call this global warming when it's above freezing in January in Chicago? Yeah, look at this. This is a very controversial engraving here because of the Battle of Fort Dearborn. The Americans called it the Fort Dearborn Massacre. The Potawatomi called it a Great Victory. Look at the yeah, look at that beautiful view. You're back to Korea. Hey, well, hey, thanks for checking out Chicago virtually here. We'll go back down Michigan Avenue. We got 12:54. This will give me enough time to go back to my office here. There's the London house. Look how nice that looks. I got views from the top there. There's a nice roof there. And hey, there's the Marina Towers. So here's what Fort Dearborn used to look like. And there's a nice, if you go in there, there's a really nice mosaic. But this will kind of the old Fort Dearborn, 1803 to 1812. And it was destroyed in 1812 by the Potawatomi. And that's generally on this site here, Wacker in Michigan, Chicago, Illinois. Oh, really? Bruce is on the loose. Used to live by Chicago. Very nice. Here's a alley. That's Garland Court. It's behind the London house. Hey, here's the Bulls fan shop. My Chicago Bulls fan. Hey, there's Staley the Bear. There's Staley. I remember we caught Staley the Bear when the Jesse White tumblers were in front of the Fox News. And I timed it to the Bear Down Chicago Bears song. We'll have to revive that. We'll post that before the Green Bay Bears fan there to get everybody pepped up like the pep rally. We were partying with Staley the Bear there. He gave me a hug. Staley the Bear gave me a hug right on the live stream. We got the recording there. I know I'm talking loud. I'm annoying people walking down the street here. But hey, you see where we're at here, Chicago, Illinois, Michigan Ave. It's good to be back. We got 12:55 in the PM. We got 42 degrees, a beautiful day. Should be pretty nice all week. We might get some rain later this week, but I guess rain's better than snow in January.
Just so you know.
Yeah, thanks. Lisa's always great with the good info. Yeah, thanks for tuning in here. So I'll leave you. We'll go to the lower level of Michigan here. We'll go to the streets below the streets. I usually do this to cross below. See, we're right here at Water Street in Michigan. We're a block north from Millennium Park. We're a block south of the Chicago River and Wacker Drive. And see, that's the old Republic building. There's the Carbide and Carbon building. They're gonna put the rumor is they're gonna put a Portillo's right here. So once that goes in, I'll be the first to show it to you. And here we'll head underneath the lower level of Michigan. You can connect the lower Wacker this way, and you can get to Lakeshore East. There's 3 levels. You can get to where they tow your car. This is the lower level of Michigan. You see, and that Millennium Station, you can get the Millennium Station that way. And we'll cross the street here. We got a few seconds here. So that goes to Wacker Drive. We're underneath Michigan Avenue. It kind of ends right there. And then you get to Lakeshore East. There is a small homeless and house population here. You can see, I'll respectfully, not annoy them by live streaming past their tents. People try to park down here. There's always people double parked and stuff. You can get to Millennium Station right there. Earlier, like Union, Ogilvie, and LaSalle Street Station. And we can head right back up to Michigan Avenue. See, they do a lot of truck deliveries down here. You got to watch where you step, because my gimbal. Hold on a second here. My gimbal just went sideways. So I was trying to film down, and that's what I get when I film down here. So hey, we're about in the live stream here, so let me rip this off the gimbal. Have a good rest of your Monday here. I'm gonna head back to work. Thanks, mods, and thanks everybody else for tuning in. We'll catch you. See, this is how shaky my screen would be if I didn't use the gimbal here. So here, let me hold the phone so I don't drop it. Okay, we'll see you after 5 o'clock tonight. Happy New Year, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks to the mod team back in Chicago. We'll see you after 5 o'clock tonight on YouTube. And you can check out the reruns on the live tab. If you missed this, you can go to the live tab on YouTube, Brian Really Chicago, and check out the full live stream. We did some ice skating. Well, we filmed some ice skating, then we walked through the loop. See you later there. Have a great day. From Chicago, 42 degrees. Get out there and enjoy it. Have a great day, everybody. Yeah, see you everybody.